that. And there we go. Yes. So I got a question. I have a student that just asked the question. There's a picture that's in my background. I'm gonna show it to you if you guys want to see it. It's kind of interesting. This is gonna get recorded, which makes this even more fun. So hang on a second. I'm going to try to don't do that. Nope. Okay, so we're here. So my background picture right now is me and my son practicing for our saxophone, because ultimately the reason we had to do that is because he was not great about being on top of his practicing and hadn't shown us some things. So I said, well, we're going to record what we do then, and I'm going to send it to your teacher. And he said, okay, that's great. And I put it on YouTube so I could send it, because it's a lot easier to send, that version of it to something else. I had no idea that was something that was on my YouTube channel that people could see, but it's interesting to listen to us play. If you want to go to my YouTube channel, that's crazy. Click subscribe down in the comments. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do any of that crap. But it's a trip. I didn't realize that was something that anybody would have seen. So my brain just kind of exploded there. But yes, that's what that was. All right, guys. Now we're recording, and it's a good thing I didn't swear, because this is also going to go up on my YouTube channel, which, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe down in the comments there. It's what makes me more money than what I'm getting paid right now. Also not true. I get no money for any of that. So we're doing our chapter 5 review. So the equations of lines and the systems of equations, that's stuff that we did at the beginning when we were starting to do that algebra review stuff. And I really want to make sure that we have a place where you guys are going to be showing how to do some of this material. Because the problem that we run into is, there's just kind of an assumption that, hey, you guys got it, right? And I really want to make sure that we can see it, because the problem is that, like, you guys had a whole lot of things that you may have missed in the spring when we were talking about dealing with algebra. And I want to make sure we kind of bring it all back together. Yeah, 90% of you guys are not subscribed. Stop it. Okay, here's what we're going to do. When we look at this right here, I want you to recall, when we're looking at this, how we do slope-intercept form and the difference between that and standard form. Okay, first off, y'all, you see these things at the bottom here? This is a nice, happy slide that talks to us about how we do the standard form. We put our x and the y on the same side. It's here. If you see this, y equals mx plus b, okay, for real, everybody, that is the most important thing. And in fact, this y equals mx plus b is the one that you're going to use for just about everything. If you remember other forms, that's lovely. But if you don't, this right here is the one that you guys are going to need to know. Do you recall slope-intercept form? Somebody better answer me, not talk about subscribing. Okay, cool. So what I want to make sure that you guys can see is this. If we have this part right here and we've got the slope-intercept form, we're going to have to find the slope and the y-intercept to make sure that we can come up with an equation, which is what we're going to try to do. Now, one of the things that you were asked to do, and God, I really feel like we did this, but I've been teaching line stuff in literally all of my classes. And so if this feels a little bit uncomfortable here, then I'm going to definitely teach this to you right now. But again, like over the course of January, I taught slope-intercept form, graphing lines, the equation of lines in lots of different forms in literally all of the classes that I have. So I apologize if this is something that you guys are like, Bechtel, what are you talking about? So give me just a second here. And what I'm going to do is a quick new share. And I'm going to do this with my camera so that I can show you what to do on this slide. So we're going to see, nope. Oh, it's because I didn't plug in the thing. Hi, guys. It's good to see you. While you're at it, if you go down and click subscribe in my YouTube channel thing, that'd be, sorry. Again, this is who I am now. Appreciate it. There we go. Hey, look. Thank you. I appreciate you thinking that my glasses are cool. I got them for not very much money on the internet, which is the right way to buy things, for not very much money. Okay, writing the equation and slope-intercept form. Y'all, I need you to focus, because if you don't know how to do this just looking at the problem, then I'm going to tell you that your jokes about subscribing, while hilarious, will not help you when it's time for the test. So take a look at this, and I want to make sure that you recognize when we say slope-intercept form, that means we're going to be putting something in y equals mx plus b form, okay? First thing that I want you to be able to find when we're doing this is going to be the slope. Because when we talk about the slope, all the slope is our change in y over our change in x. So what we're going to do is take our values here, and we are going to use them to be able to find first the slope, and then use that to find the equation. So these are both our x's, these are both our y's, and that's going to sort of help us as we go through and find what we're going to do. Because if I am looking for my change in y on the top, that means I have to subtract my two y values. Just make sure you're recognizing the direction that you go. So if you decide to go second minus first or first minus second, just be consistent. So I'm going to go second minus first just because. So for this one, for the change in y, that'll start with a -3, and I will be subtracting 9. That talks about how much we have changed in our y values. And I'm going to do that same thing for my x's, starting with a 1 minus a -2. Now, that should give us a general idea as to how we're doing this. And if you do it in the other direction, that would also work, because basically you're going to get the same two numbers. It's just the positive and negative parts will switch roles. In this case, -3 minus 9 is going to give us a -12 on the top. 1 minus -2 is the same as 1 plus 2, which is going to be a 3 on the bottom. If you did it the way, so V, the one that you have there, that would give you a positive 12 on top and a -3 on bottom. Also would be completely and totally fine, because we'll end up with the same fraction with the negative on either the top or the bottom. Now, when I'm done, -12 divided by 3 is a nice happy whole number. It will give us -4 as the slope of our line. So far, everybody with me on how to find slope? Is that like, was this a good reminder for you to sort of get you in the place of looking at this stuff? Okay, we have to find the equation then. So right now, what I do when I get a new part of it is I write that into the equation here. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. I know right now we have y is equal to -4x plus b. And so what that means to me is that I need to be able to find the b to get my answer here. Now, it would be lovely if one of these was 0 and a number, because that is our y-intercept, and they are not. So this is kind of what I love about algebra. It's set up in such a way that when you have an equation with a bunch of variables, your goal is to get that equation down so that you only have one unknown value so you can solve for it. We have been given 2 points that we know are on the line, -2, 9 and 1, -3. Both of these are pairs of x, y values that if I plug in here for x and y, will make this equation true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one of the points, and it doesn't matter which one. You're going to get the same answer no matter what. So let's say I pick this one right here. We'll use this point, and I'm going to plug that in for my x and my y right here. Right now, I know that y is -3. So I'm going to replace this y with -3. Write the rest of the equation. So we have equals -4. Now, at this point, what I want to do is when I'm plugging that x in, I know I'm going to be multiplying. I'm going to put parentheses there, plus b. And for that part, I want to make sure that we use the x value that we have right here. It's the 1. So I'm going to plug that in right there. Now, I have taken my equation. I have reduced the number of variables that we're using all the way down to 1. So now I can solve this for b and find out what that number actually is. All right, so here we go. Multiply the two of those together. We get -3 is equal to -4 plus b. I'm going to bring that 4 over to the other side by adding it. And I get that 1 is equal to b. So now I have the b portion of my equation. At the end of this then, I know the equation of this line is y is equal to -4x plus 1, because that's the m that I solved for, that is the b that I solved for, and that is my final answer. Now, how many of you feel like that made a little bit of sense, or enough sense that you can say, oh, I got this, this is fine? All right, cool. What I'd like to do then is this. We have about 4 minutes left in class because I talk too much, which is always my problem. So what we're going to do then is I want to move this beyond like finding the equation of line, slope, intercept form to what we do with starting with a line and finding the equation of that line, because it's another skill that you're going to be asked to do. If you have other questions on this at some point, fire a couple questions off at some point in time over an email, and I'll try to answer them kind of quickly. But I think I can kick this one off pretty quick as well. So if I'm going to find the equation of that line, remember, we're still talking about this in y equals mx plus b. So the great thing about a graph, b is like the easiest thing in the world to find, because y'all, it's where it crosses the y axis. So I'm looking at that. Hey, look, it's right there. That'll give me a -5. Halfway there. So there's my x. I need a slope, but that y is going to be here. So basically, my next goal is to try to use the points that are on here to find the slope of this equation. And I just make the slope triangles, basically, so I can count them off to figure out how do I go from point to point. Count how many we have here. This is 4, this is 3, that's 4, that's 3. So when we talk about our slope, change in y is our vertical change. So that's the top of the fraction. Change in x is the horizontal change. That's the bottom of the fraction. I got my equation. Y is equal to 4/3 x minus 5. Okay? So that's the way that we go about solving the equation of a line, starting with the graph of a line and writing the equation. First, use the graph to find your y-intercept, and then find between the points what your slope triangle is and use that for this. Again, I feel like we're good. How you feeling? Somebody tell me. Got a good, I got a great, I got a yeah, that's all I need. We probably don't need another one of those, so let's go to holy crap systems of equations. Guys, these are ones that we're going to use to solve with substitution. And the reason we're going to solve with substitution here is because of the fact that in both cases we have a variable isolated on the other side of the equation. The first setup for this is going to be really easy, but I don't know that I'm going to have time to take us all the way through to the end. I can finish one of them, but essentially what we're going to have to do here is I want you to take the x and plug it in there, or in this case, take the y and plug it in here. Your key is to use a set of parentheses when you do it. So if we're going to be doing this one here, and I think this is the one I'll have time to write, this expression is going to fit in right where that x is. So I will rewrite it with that -4. And then instead of the x, I'm going to use parentheses and write in this one 4y, sorry, 4y minus 6. And then I'm going to write plus 3y equals -28. So we have now substituted in for that x. Yeah, pew pew indeed. So with this being said, I'm going to just straight up solve this as fast as I can so you guys can see it. We're going to distribute that -4. So we get -16y plus 24 plus 3y is equal to -28. Then if I combine my like terms, these two put together is going to be -13y plus 24 equals -28. Then if I subtract 24 from both sides, I am going to get that -13y is going to equal -52. And if I divide both sides by -13, I'm going to get that y is equal to a +4. Now, once I know what the y value is, I can go back up into this equation. I can rewrite it and replace that y with the 4 and say that x is equal to 4 times the 4 that I just found, minus 6. X equals 16 minus 6, or 10. So we have our x value, we have our y value. So that's the point that is a solution is going to be 10, 4. Because 10, 4, good buddy, we got to the end of this answer and we got to the end of this class. So what I'm going to do right now is stop sharing and say to all of you guys that you'll have enough time to see more of this stuff and rolling into the stuff that we're going to be doing with the geometry side tomorrow. And I think it's going to be relatively quick as we go through it. But you guys have all the way until next Thursday to get this quiz done anyways. So with that being said, this is where we are at. I know the -28 and the -24, it adds to 52 because they are all negative together. And that's the reason why it is going to be a -52. Also because it had to divide evenly. So I was hoping we got to that. And I'm pretty sure that that was what we needed. So, all right, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.